guy Pete. He came and saw the setup. And Pete is an ice road trucker. But you could drown because they're traveling on ice across the lake.
You're on video, Dad.
So Pete's done this for many, many years. Give you an idea, Pete. This is Pete. And that's one of his 2 trucks. He has 2 big trucks. That's him, but he retired. If you look at it later, all right? Okay, so that's his son, Jim. He does most of the driving, but he drives all the material, all the plywood, all the metal, all the hardware to the North Pole. And in order for him to get to the North Pole quickly, in the wintertime, in the summertime, he has to go all the way around this big lake. And this lake is really much bigger than this. So he has to come all the way down and around here in the summertime. But in the wintertime, it's dangerous because this snow could fall on the road with a tree or something like that. So he cuts across the ice. In the summertime, this is water. Wintertime, it's nice and thick ice, about that thick. It goes 30 below zero, 40 below zero there. And that's just showing you how far they would have to travel, right? So,
There's no way this is going to happen.
So Pete's been able to tell me just what it looks like at the North Pole. And this is his description of it, right? So, we work very close on this. So this is what it looks like when all the lights are on. And the whole idea behind this is if you're in an airplane and you're flying overhead, all you see is mountains and trees. You don't see his workshop. That's why it's buried into a mountain. So, this first. This here is the runway where Santa lands and takes off. So he can come in here and land, they load him up, and he takes off again, right? So this here is all loaded with presents, ready to go. Now in the old days, they had lanterns on these lights. You can see them in the mirror up there, right? So, in the old days, these had fires, right? And every once in a while, a reindeer would kick over a lantern, and they had to have a whole bunch of elves up here with buckets of water to make sure a fire doesn't start, because the kerosene would come out of these things, and you could start a fire. But then, Santa got electricity. And I'll explain about the electricity. So now what he has, regular landing lights, right? Instead of the lanterns, they have this on the ground, and that's what you're looking at like that, right? So here, a sleigh can hit this, the reindeer can hit it, nothing happens, right? Nice and solid, meant to land on. So now, this opens up, and this gives you an idea of what's inside this mountain. Right? This here is the living quarters for the elves and Santa and Mrs. Claus. They have different bedrooms. They have all these bunk beds. There's 9 elves to a bunk bed. And this really goes deeper. I only did a little piece of it. You got the kitchen and the dining room and everything else all here, the bathroom. And then if you take this part out, that's the workshop. That's where the toys are made, inside the mountain. One of these days I'll get to putting machines and everything else inside there, right? But for now, you'll have to use your imagination. So, if he has this door like this that can open and close, that can't be made out of rock. Santa made all of this. This is all artificial, right? So, this is what it's made of. That's the way he built this. He built it so that it's aluminum, plywood, and styrofoam. But not only is the mountain like that, but all of these trees are artificial. Because he has to keep the weight down. So he comes up with this idea. So this here looks like a heavy, heavy log, right? This would probably weigh 100 pounds or more if it was a real solid log. But they put a ladder inside the log, and this is only a sample. The real one is about this big, the bottom of the tree. That's very light. You can pick it up. Yeah, pick it up. Right? Not heavy, right? Yeah, it's light. So what happens is these sections are really this big, higher than this ceiling, right? And they put one section on top of the other section, like this. And they keep on going up and up and up until they're about 100 feet up. And there's plenty of wind up there at 100 feet. Then what they do, so this is a small scale of what would be the top of that tree. This would really be like this big, right? So this here is just the top of the tree. And if you look inside here, do you see that red ball? Okay, do you know what a windmill is? Okay, you have windmills, all different sized windmills. We use windmills there. There's a windmill for a farm, right? That would turn a piece of machinery. Here's other windmills, right? And these windmills are being used today, using the wind to make electricity. Right? And if you have an idea, see this little dot there? That's a big ocean liner. So that gives you an idea of how big these things are. They're monsters. And they crank a lot of electricity. They make a lot. But if Santa put a windmill over here, yeah.
Heads up, Will.
If he put a windmill in the middle of a forest and a plane is flying overhead, they'd see the windmill, people would come down, investigate what's going on, and they would find his workshop. So Santa turned around and he made, this is his invention, he made a paddle ball. So there's a wheel inside the tree, right? Now if I take this, the tree is hollow, I just showed you that, right? There's a chain that comes down the center of that tree. And when the wind hits that paddle ball, see the machine turning? Yeah. So that's how he powers his machine. Except he doesn't power one machine, he powers 10 machines off of one tree. Sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on what the machine is. So now, he has electricity because he has computers, but he makes his own electricity. And Pete is the guy who delivered all these generators. All right? Now with that chain, instead of being tied to that machine, of course everything bigger was tied to a wheel to a generator. I'm making electricity right now. Right? Go ahead, you want to try? Go ahead, you want to make electricity? No, we have to handle it. That's it. So you're making electricity right now. Just like the electricity that's powering this light over here. Same thing. Okay, that's... Go ahead. That's it. So you're making electricity. So you can tell your friends. So that's one way that Santa can make electricity, and he can run his computers. Right? Now remember I said water wheels, right? These are examples of water wheels. Water comes down, and here's a water wheel here and a water wheel there.
I see a water wheel.
Back up, bud.
Oh yeah? Good. There's another water wheel. Another water wheel, right? So we come over here to where the water wheel is. And you'll see how that works. See, because of that tree. That's a water wheel down there. And there's the water turning the water wheel. Okay? All right, so now you got the water coming down through a stream. Okay, move back a little. All right? Okay? Now I'll show you what the water wheel's power is. You see this machine here? It's called a band slate. And this is called a drill press. You see the machines are turning? Those machines are turning off of that wheel, just like in real life. Over here we have a 45-degree gear. That gear is connected to that. That little wheel is connected to that very big gear. And it just runs all of these chains. And if you look, you can see all the chains are turning and moving to drive these. Don't touch it. Okay? All right, so that's how that works. All right? Now Pete said that this is almost exactly like what Santa's workshop looks like, especially this time of year. Everybody's running, trying to get the dollhouses ready, get the trains and everything else. All right, now there's one more thing. You know, you say Santa's sleigh. Sleigh is a sleigh, not Santa's sleigh. Santa's sleigh is special. This is all Santa's inventions. Now, Pete had a call to get permission to do this. Let me just sit over here so I don't drop anything. All right? Now, the real sleigh, Santa's real sleigh is about this much bigger, right? If I made it to scale. So he doesn't mind the snow, likes the snow, doesn't mind the wind. Some rain as long as it's not real heavy. But the sleet and hail, that's ice. That hits you in the face, that hurts. Especially as fast as he's going. And who knows how fast he's flying. 80 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour. So he put a windshield. See the windshield? The only thing is all the ice would be coming up over his head. So he put sides on here. And now he can cover himself over. So that now, and he travels with 4 elves. Minimum 4 elves. This here gets a flap, this here gets a flap, but I never put them on, just to give you an idea of what it's like. Alright? So now, Jake. Where you going, Jake? Here, come around this way. Where you going? Okay, so here the reindeer hook up to the sleigh. Alright? Now, another thing that Santa has is he has a radio. And that radio, he's connected with all the control towers for the airplanes. And it's up to the control towers to make sure there's no airplanes in the area when he's flying. And they do. They make very sure. Now this here, the reins, the reindeer. That's what they call reins. Normally they would just come up over the top of this, but when this is all closed up, they have to connect them to these two rods, these chains here. So he steers the reindeer like this. You see it moving? That's how he steers. Now Pete told me that the reindeer pretty much know where they're going because they've been there before. They try to keep the same route on the weather. So he said most of the time, all that Santa has to do is go under my roof and there's no snow. These heavy steel runners are going to tear the shingles off my roof when he hits them. But Santa thought of that too. So he has a landing. So now, when he lands, there's rubber. It's just a wheel hitting and they stop. So, and then if there's snow, he can retract it depending where he's going in the country. Right? So he's just about thought of everything I can think of to make a nice, safe trip. You know? Reindeer, and they let him have a bite to eat. Just about everything I know about Santa, his sleigh, his workshop. Okay? I have a couple of other stories. I don't know if you want to hear them. A couple of other whys, like how reindeer fly.
Oh, I love this one. William, want me to hold that for you, buddy?
Hey, is this the kid that smashed
Yeah, let Daddy hold that. Yes, so the kids can let Daddy sit. You sit on the carpet. No, sit on the carpet. Sit down right there. With your carpet.
If you go out and you buy sleigh bells now, this is what you get. 10 bells. An old lady came to see the setup here, and she loved it. She came back and she gave me this scrap of bells. And she said, you should have these. And I treasured them. She found these Christmas morning. You can tell just by the little strap. Heavy duty. And listen to the bell. Something different, right? You'll hear that a long way. So then she said, Hank, why does Santa have bells on his sleigh? It doesn't make sense. He wants you in bed early. He wants you to sleep. He wants the house nice and quiet. But he rings bells. So I said, I have no idea. And she said, for the animals, that's why you need bells on the sleigh. Because there's a lot of animals out there. You can't always land on a roof and tree or something.
He's doing really well.
So if he's landing on the ground, you have possums, raccoons, owls, all of these animals running around the ground. So when he does ring the bell, just a little bit like that, they hear him because of these loud bells. Everybody scatters. Santa's coming in. That's why you get bells. You know if you remember from last year? When I grew up in Brooklyn, there was a little old couple that lived on my block, on my street. And their name was the Etniks. And they were great old man, and tiny little old lady, tiny little old man. And all the neighbors would be chasing us for playing ball in front of their house because we used to play in the street. We didn't have any parks. So as we're getting pushed down the block from neighbor to neighbor telling us to move, Mr. Ackland's down there waving to us. Come on, come in front of my house. Because he used to like watching us. So, as a matter of fact, a couple of times the neighbor across the street came out and yelled at us to move, and Mr. Ackland yelled at the neighbor. They're playing here, I'm watching. And the neighbor went back in the house. So, anyway, they call me in the house every once in a while to move furniture so that Mrs. Ackland could vacuum and clean and stuff like that. And there's one time they called me in the house and he said, Hank, you know how much you love Santa? I'll tell you a story. So he told me a story when he was in his 20s that he fell asleep on Christmas Eve in his living room and he woke up to a noise. And when he woke up, he got startled, he jumped up, and it was Santa standing there. When he jumped up, Santa jumped back. He got scared. And they were laughing about it. And Mrs. Eckland came down and made coffee and tea and stuff like that for Santa, and he had a couple of elves with him. And Mr. Eckland said, Santa, I want to know one thing, how do reindeer fly? Santa took a piece of Mrs. Eckland's wrapping paper. I'll let you hold it, but it's too fragile. So you have the reindeers laid here, and there's a tube. Oh, this is and the magic dust goes underneath the reindeer, goes underneath the sleigh, and it goes up with the magic. So, you know what a flea market is? Kind of like a garage sale. So at a flea market, the guy's unloading his truck and he throws these two things on the table. And I go over and say, and sure enough, I go over and this one here says Blitzen, 1943. And this one's Prancing, 1894. So I said to the guy, do you know what those things are? He goes, I have no idea. And I brought them home. Now there was no magic dust in them. I don't have any magic dust. I put glitter in them. If I had magic dust, I wouldn't sit in traffic again. I just get out and throw it underneath my truck. And anyway, get the idea? As the reindeers get strapped on, I didn't do it. And as it's shaking, the magic dust comes out, goes under the reindeer, back on the sleigh. I guess they put enough in it for the trip. He probably had some in the sleigh, I don't know. But you can see this one here is pretty old. This one has a pouch on top. And back in those days, they put everything in there. Tobacco, marbles, jewelry. This one here is a little bit weighted. This one here has another latches on it. You can see how rusty it is. So the same idea. We're not the only ones who know this. If you look at greeting cards, the artists who do these greeting cards must really study Santa. Because if you look underneath here, you can see the magic dust coming out the bottom. The sweat underneath the reindeer, just like this one. So we're not the only ones who knew this. glitter. Yeah, it's vacuum. Alright, so I got one more thing, and this happened. As soon as I came in, the first thing I noticed was all the stamps. There's 16 stamps. So I checked to make sure it was mine, had to see it. And then I looked to see from Jessica Pringle. You know who Jessica Pringle is? Mrs. Pringle. Santa Claus's real name is Chris Pringle. This is Jessica Pringle. So I ran over to the grandkids and I said, let's open this together. This is special. And the first thing I noticed was the box saying this is fancy for a shipping box. You know? And I opened it up. And I expected to see peanuts and newspaper and stuff like that drop out, you know, those plastic peanuts. And I looked and said, this is nothing. What's in here? I open it up. It's gorgeous. I mean, this is what girls' expensive dresses, Santa's outfit is made from that. You know, it's gorgeous stuff. Right? So you know what was in this box? That picture. Jessica sent me a picture of Santa Claus. I've been asking for years and years and years. And leave them a note, can I have a picture of it? She sent it to me because they had one of their head elves' name is Hans. He told her that I wanted a picture from Santa. He started checking this layout when he comes here. And he always wants to know if there's something new. So every year, that's why I always add one thing new, at least one thing. And so thanks to Jessica Pringle, I got a picture of Santa Claus, and that's the man right there. That's him. So, now you know as much as I do about Santa. I've been studying him since I was 12 years old. Since I got that thing from Mr. Ekman.
Not your back. You're
And what these are, they're mugs, and you open them up, and there's 3 different paintings, 3 colors.
You had another one?
He's like, oh, faces are. Wait, you're gonna get more. Sit. You'll get more.
Not too much.
Sorry.
Beautiful.
Did I give you a heart?
William, make sure you say thank you, pal.
You like this stuff?
You can make that for mommy.
Which one you like? You like the square one or the one with the hamburger?
Nice.
Dad. And then maybe for the girls and 4 of those.
What a pretty elf.
Yep. I checked. Just one more red one. And then this guy. This guy. He attaches a rope, and he lays it here, and right, you attach a rope, and
Cam.
that is awesome. Like a boy on a little plane, you know? Yeah, upstairs, right? Yeah, that's so cool. Oh my goodness.
Will, what'd you get?
Thank you.
glider.
How beautiful.
Cool.
Let me
You know how to do that?
This is my favorite part.
I'll go run and get one.
When Nicholas walks around with the presents.
Thank you. It's gorgeous.
Oh my